I have to beat anxiety. I must get rid of it. I need this to stop now. Do you feel like you have to beat anxiety, like it's some urgent, non-negotiable mission? I hear you. You're exhausted, you're frustrated, you're probably thinking, why won't this just go already? But I need to tell you something that you may not be ready to hear. Here goes. The mindset you have of I have to get rid of anxiety may just be the very thing that's causing it to stick around. There, I said it. And yes, there may be a big part of you right now that's piping up, ready to shout at me. But Howard, I do have to get rid of anxiety. And I get that because the struggle is real. But I also know, having come through this myself and helped thousands of others, that if I can help you see a hidden illusion behind all this, it may end up being the difference that makes the difference. Let's dive in. Right now, I'd like you to demand upon yourself that you must relax immediately. Seriously, close your eyes and say to yourself, I have to relax right now. And notice how that feels. Now, change the words to, I'd like to relax, and notice the difference. Now, the chances are when you demanded upon yourself that you have to relax, you likely felt more tense. It's like demanding you relax triggers that teenage rebellious part of you that goes, shut up, I'll relax only if I want to. You can't make me. Whereas coming at the task of relaxation from the perspective of, I'd like to relax, probably felt a little easier. So here's the question. If your goal was to relax, then how effective would it be if you demanded that you had to immediately do so right now? By the way, this is why even people who don't have sleep issues will often have the experience where they say, I don't have a problem sleeping except when I have something important on the next day. And I go to bed saying to myself, tonight, I must get a good night's sleep. And of course, this is the night they can't sleep. Why? Because they're going to bed with too much tension in their body. Oh, and if you're thinking, well, how do I sleep better? Then after you finish this video, feel free to check out another video I made a while ago on that topic called Help Me with Sleep and Anxiety. Now, this isn't rocket science, because guess what happens if you tell yourself, I must calm down right now. I have to stop overthinking. I must not feel anxious today, or even, I have to get rid of anxiety. You don't magically become calm, right? If anything, it makes you feel even worse. But exactly why? Let's go deeper and introduce you to a classic psychological concept from Dr. Albert Ellis, the founder of rational emotive behavioral therapy. Ellis coined the term masturbation. Yes, you heard that right. Masturbation. And no, it's not what you think. Get your mind out of the gutter. Ellis used this term to describe the destructive habit of telling ourselves, I must be happy, I must be anxiety-free, I must not feel XYZ. In other words, orientating towards absolutes in our thinking. And when we fall for these musts, we create unnecessary stress, pressure, and suffering. So yes, it might be true to say that your anxiety might be caused by too much masturbation. And I don't mean to be crude, but stop it, you'll go blind. All right, kidding, but seriously, stop putting all this pressure on yourself. But how do you do that? Well, think of it like this. Do you ever get mad at gravity? Like, have you ever tripped over something and thought, oh great, gravity's ruining my day again? Probably not, because gravity isn't something you argue with. It's just there. It's a universal physical law. You accept that it's possible for gravity to affect you and the things around you. But imagine if every time you dropped something, you had a meltdown screaming and ranting at gravity shouldn't exist. It'd be exhausting, right? And we get that, but sometimes people treat their thoughts and stories about the way they want things to be like, as though they're universal laws like gravity. Which is fine until they're confronted with the reality that they aren't universal laws. Let me give you an example. If I drop this pen, is there a chance it will float? Nope. Gravity will pull it down. Is there a possibility, though, that someone could be anxious despite not wanting to be? Well, yeah, very possible. And that's the difference. One is possible, and one is not. So if you catch yourself saying things like, "I must not be anxious right now," and find yourself feeling really tense because of that, chances are that that tension you're feeling is because of the very real conflict between your thoughts and reality. Despite what you desire, the reality is it's entirely possible to feel anxious. And arguing with that fact will only lead to further frustration. In fact, one of my favourite quotes ever is from a wonderful therapist called Byron Katie, who says, "If you argue with reality, you'll lose, but only 100% of the time." So, am I suggesting that you should just resign yourself to having anxiety? Not at all, but I invite you to think of it like this. Imagine you're caught in a heavy rainstorm. At first, you're desperately running for cover, dodging puddles, shielding yourself, trying to stay dry, and you see other people sprinting, frantically covering their heads, thinking that if they can move fast enough, they can outrun the inevitable. But eventually, you get so drenched that something shifts and you stop running. You accept it, and suddenly it's liberating. Yes, you're still wet. Yes, it's still raining, but now you're in it instead of fighting it. You can't help but smirk when you see people still running, believing they can escape something they're already in. Anxiety is the same way. The moment you stop running from it, stop resisting, stop treating it like an emergency you have to escape, it loses its grip. It doesn't mean you love it, it just means you're no longer a slave to the fight. Can you imagine if you were not only wet through, but you were also screaming at the sky, "You shouldn't be raining!" And whilst I'm implying you should accept the rain, I want to point out that that doesn't mean resign yourself to it. I think these days, unfortunately, most people misunderstand the idea of acceptance. They think acceptance means giving up, rolling over, or just saying, "Oh, well, guess I'll just have to suffer forever then." But true acceptance isn't about resignation. In fact, the origin of the word is actually from the Latin, acceptere, which means to receive willingly. Think of it as when someone gives you a gift, you willingly accept it. And true acceptance is about seeing this as receiving a gift. So what might happen if, even though it felt awful, you didn't fight anxiety and tell it to go, you just let it be? Firstly, you'd stop acting as though it were a threat, which would over time allow the body to relearn that what-if thoughts aren't actually a threat. Secondly, you wouldn't be adding the additional tension of fighting internally, and likely your perception of its severity would therefore be reduced. That sounds like a pretty good gift to me. And this is why, paradoxically, the more you accept anxiety, the less it consumes you. So let's finish up with 5 quick mindset shifts to escape the must trap. 1. Replace "I must" with "I'd like to." Instead of "I have to be anxiety," try "I'd like to get better at this, but I don't need to force it." This simple shift reduces pressure in the body and tension. 2. Stop arguing with reality. If anxiety shows up, don't waste energy yelling at it. Instead try, "Alright, you're here. I don't love it, but I'm not fighting you." 3. Recognize the illusion of urgency. Anxiety feels urgent, but that doesn't mean it actually is. Remember, not every alarm in your brain is an emergency. 4. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about receiving a gift. True acceptance is about receiving what's here without resistance. And when you stop struggling, you free up energy to actually move forward. 5. The less pressure you put on yourself, the better you'll feel. Give yourself permission to take your time. There's no rush. Now, if you want practical tools to help with this, check out my Extinguish Anxiety program. It's a short, practical online program with 5 game-changing techniques to diffuse feelings of overwhelm and panic in real time, which can be great at helping you return to thinking brain so you can more effectively challenge those musts. The link is below if you want to check it out. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button and join our community. I release regular videos to help you break free from anxiety, and I would love to have you join. Remember, just because anxiety feels urgent doesn't mean it actually is. Take a breath, keep going. You've got this.